Hey guys, it's Kaitlyn. Welcome back to my channel. I have attempted to tell this same story so many times, it is ridiculous. If you felt my pain right now, you would understand. Like, I am so ridiculously bad at telling stories. Bear with me, there might be a lot of cuts because I probably will ramble, but yeah. So if this makes it onto the internet, I am feeling blessed. Okay, so basically, as you can see by the title, I met my first in-person pervert, I don't know what you would call him, in Starbucks. I was in America when this story happened. I actually live in Canada in a little teeny tiny dot on the map called Nova Scotia. You've probably never heard of it. I haven't either, and I live here. So if you are from Canada, the very thought of being in America, the scariest place on earth, scares the shit out of you. Scares me. I was afraid of my own shadow when I was younger. I still am, just not as bad. But in this story, I was in Maine and I was in a place called Bangor. I don't know if that's a city or like a town. Is a city and a town different? I don't know. So for a couple summers, I used to go to Maine to go shopping. A lot of people in Atlantic Canada like to go to Maine to shop for some reason. I'm not really sure why. They literally have like a PacSun and like some outlets. It's pretty ridiculous, the worst shopping ever. But I go anyways, well I used to. And I remember this particular day we were shopping, but we decided halfway through the day to stop at Starbucks. My mom had to take a call. She was talking to someone, no idea who it was, and she bought me a green tea. Number one, it was the most disgusting thing I've ever tasted in my life. Don't ever get a green tea from Starbucks. It tastes like liquid shit. I do not recommend. And my mom was probably talking on the phone, probably 20 minutes at this point, and I was just sitting on the seats in this Starbucks. I don't go into Starbucks a lot, but the perimeter of like the store was lined with leather seats, and I was sitting in them, like I said, and it was surrounded by tables where you could sit with your friends or family, whatever, and there was probably maybe 10 to 15 people in there, relatively empty. You could sit by yourself. I was sitting by myself. There was pretty much nobody in the leather chairs. They were all in the table area. And my mom was sitting on the opposite side of the store so I wouldn't bug her or like, you know. So I'm sitting here enjoying my green tea, and this guy, I have to describe him. This guy sits down directly adjacent to me. If you're not as smart as me, adjacent means next. I'm totally kidding, I'm an idiot. But some guy sits right next to me, and to give you a description of this guy, he was, I suck at telling ages, but I think probably 50 to 60 years old, super overweight. He had like the worst varicose veins, is that how you pronounce it? Spider veins, I don't know, all over his legs. He was wearing Crocs, and he was wearing socks that like went halfway up his calf. What else? He was bald. He had an extremely like huge red nose. He had, I don't know why I remember this so like vividly, but he had like super oily skin. He was wearing a dirty, what kind of blue, like baby bluish, cloudy blue shirt. This isn't even relevant, but I'm just trying to give you like an image of what this guy looked like. He looked wrecked. And he comes and sits next to me, and at first I was kind of annoyed because he could have sat anywhere. There was like 30 seats, and he decides to sit directly next to me. Like, I hate those kinds of people. But anyways, he sits right next to me, and I'm like, well, shit. And he doesn't talk for probably 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm sitting there ignoring him, using my iPhone, like, -1, I don't even remember. It was 2013, probably like a 4. I was sitting on my phone, minding my own business, and then this guy decides we're gonna have a conversation. Perfect. I don't know why this is totally not relevant at all, but I'm a huge, like, The Office fan, and whenever someone says conversation, I remember that scene where Erin is talking to, like, Robert California, and she goes, Robert California, let's have a conversation. Like, I love that. I don't know why. Anyways, back to the story time. At this point, the conversation is completely innocent. It's small talk, you know, like, torture, and we're talking for probably a minute and a half. Like, this was so long ago, I'm trying to, like, recollect kind of what happened, and the small talk is, like, never ending. Like, I wanted to throw myself off a cliff. Like, no offense, but this guy was being annoying. So anyways, I was super innocent, and I just thought this guy was maybe lonely or something, and he just wanted to talk. So I continued to talk with him. And then after a couple minutes, the conversation took the biggest goddamn turn. So he starts talking about my iPhone. That's how I remembered I had an iPhone. And he starts asking me about all the features on it. And this was because I kept looking at my phone, trying to kind of ignore him or, like, end the conversation. But he was asking me about my iPhone. The weirdest thing you could ever say to some kid you meet at Starbucks is, hey, want to go to the store and buy an iPhone with me? You can teach me how to use it. No thank you. I was like, no, I'm here shopping, so I'm not gonna go buy an iPhone with you. And he goes, okay, whatever. What can it do? And I remember my response distinctly. I was like, I don't know, it can do pretty much everything. And he was like, ooh, everything? Like, it was so weird, the way he was talking, but he was like, yeah, ooh, everything. And the next thing he said was, ooh, what does it have? Does it do pictures? Does it do Skype? And I was like, yeah, it does pictures. And he's like, but does it do Skype? And I said, yeah, it does Skype. If you wanted to, it has lots of apps. You can go in the App Store and download anything you want, pretty much. And then he proceeds to ask me if I have Skype and if I wanted to add him on Skype. At this point, I kind of realized I was talking to one of those perverts that pulls their dicks out on Omegle. So I was like, wow, this is weird. Mom, can you help me? She's sitting across the room, has no idea that I am dying inside and I need her help. But no, she's continuing to talk on her phone. Oh, by the way, my response to that was, oh, I have Skype, because I already said that I had Skype, but I said that I deleted the app, so I couldn't add him, and he was like, well, just, like, download it, and I was like, sorry, I don't have data, and he was like, well, we're in Starbucks, free Wi-Fi, and I was like, oh, yeah. Then he started asking me, like, where I lived, where I went to school, and I remember he was like, do you go to Bangor High? Because I was in Bangor at the time, and I said, nope, I don't even live in the USA. And he was like, oh, where do you live? And I was like, I better not tell him where I actually live. And I said I live in New Brunswick. But yeah, I said I lived in New Brunswick. And then he asked me what school I go to in New Brunswick. And I said, bold as fuck. Like, I was so bold. And I was such, like, a quiet kid back then. I was like, why does it matter? And he completely ignored me. And he was like, do you like Canada or the US better? And I was like, the US. And the reason for that is because whenever I'm in the United States, it means I'm on vacation, even though America is super scary. I would never want to live here. Crap healthcare. Like, honestly, I don't know why anyone would want to live in America. Maybe if you were living in, like, Mexico or, like, a impoverished country, like, Canada's better. Anyways, he asked me why I liked United States better, and I was like, I don't know, it's just funner. The look on his face, it lit up like a frickin' firework. He was like, funner? And I was like, yeah, like, whoa, Like, it was the weirdest reaction I've ever seen. The type of face he made when he got super excited. If you guys have ever seen the pedo smile guy, it literally looked exactly like that. So I'll put a picture on the screen in case you don't know what that is, but literally just imagine this. Hold your titties, people, because you're not gonna believe what he asked me next. He asked me, this 12, 13-year-old girl, if I had a boyfriend. At this point, I'm shooting my mom these SOS looks. She has no idea that they are SOS looks. She's looking at me, she's smiling, she waved at me, I'm pretty sure. Like, she's like, oh, honey, like, I'm on the phone, like, haha. Like, I'm over here, like, really soon after, when he asked if I had a boyfriend, my mom ended the call. My mom got off the phone and she came over because we were going to get ready to leave after she finished her coffee. And she came over and she sat directly next to me, so I'm in a mommy pedo pervert sandwich, you know? So, she starts joining into the conversation and he just goes silent. And I don't know why, it made me feel so goddamn uncomfortable. I should have said to my mom, like, this guy just asked me if I had a boyfriend. I'm 12 years old, Mom. Be his ass. But I didn't. I just sat there, pretended to drink my disgusting ass green tea. My mom, yes, I remember this really clear. He was silent for like a minute or two, and then he goes, like, he was sweating so bad. His face turned bright red, and he goes, oh my god, I am so sorry. I had no idea, like, her mother was here. Like, it's not like, I had no idea, like, she was underage. He was shaking. He was dripping sweat. When I say dripping, I'm not over-exaggerating. This guy was dripping. It looked like he was crying. His face was bright red, and that's all I could remember. And he apologizes, like, profusely. And he's like, I am so sorry for talking to your daughter without permission. I am so sorry. Like, you could hear the shake in his voice. And my mom was like, she had no idea what was going on. She was like, okay, my daughter's, like, nice. Like, she's a nice person to have a conversation with. Like, you don't have to apologize. Like, I just came over because I was finished my call, not because I was mad at you or something. And I was like, cool, Mom, thanks for standing up for me. Like, he had not touched his coffee or whatever. He did not sip it once, and he just tossed the entire thing in the garbage to make it seem like he was done, and that was why he was leaving. But yeah, so once he left, I didn't even realize. I only realized, like, when I saw him, like, throw the cup in the garbage. And then I turned to my mom and I'm like, yo, can we leave? Like, I was so uncomfortable. She's like, no. Like, I'm gonna finish my coffee and then I'm gonna use the bathroom. And I'm like, no, like, we need to leave. I thought this guy was gonna come back in with his crew and, like, kidnap me. I was so scared. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I was afraid of my own shadow. I wouldn't even go in bathrooms by myself because I was super afraid that a man was gonna be in there, and like, I was gonna be in there alone, and then a man would come in and, like, unlock the door and, like, kidnap me. I don't know, like, where the logic is, but I don't know. So yeah, we got to the car, and I'm frantically telling my mom what happened and how, like, uncomfortable this whole situation was. And my mom, like, told me, she's like, I saw you looking at me. I thought you were just, like, wanting me to hurry up or something, and I thought you were, like, just being, like, a brat. Like, I didn't know. And I was like, Mom, you did this to me. But literally, I think it's a funny situation, but, like, back then, I was so traumatized. But anyways, the whole rest of the trip, I was super afraid. I thought I was gonna get, like, kidnapped. Every time I went to a store, I need my mom by my side. My parents think I'm such a wuss. I won't go into, like, stores by myself. I won't go to, like, fast food restaurants by myself. I won't do it because I'm literally so afraid. I literally have a phobia of going into places now, all because of this. Anyways, just to like finish the story, it was really funny. My mom was like super concerned, and then she gets on the phone with her friend and she's like, oh my god, guess what just happened? And she like starts explaining it like it's the coolest story ever, and I'm sitting here like, So yeah, if you enjoyed this story time, make sure you give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. Also, I'm going to put my socials in the description, and if you follow me, I will follow you back, so just let me know if you follow me. And yeah, so have a great night or day. Night for me, it's just like 2 a.m. right now. But yeah, have a great day.